Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, my name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most. Here on The Rundown, 2A views, conservative news. Craig, do you know what day it is?
Guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. It is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend. Sometime with success, sometimes with not. But hey, once again, as we always say, the fun is in the trying.
That's right. So let's get out there and try that fun. Let's go. It's you got to at least pick up the attitude, right? Right. You may not be able to do it physically, because you got stuff like work and family, but you could take your brain there. Take the brain there.
You can definitely take your brain there. So how's the beginning of your weekend going for you thus far?
Well, let's see. Well, now, it's a sad time. The baseball season's over, so we're just going to look forward to next season. And but we're trying. We're doing everything we can. We're gonna keep our spirits going. Got to go about 150.
Baseball's not over. I mean,
No, it's over. It's over. It's done.
Done.
It's done.
Why? There's this thing. What's that thing that they play where the best teams actually get a chance to compete against each other in Major League Baseball? What do they call that again?
It used to be called the World Series, but you said the best teams. What we have right now is the cheater team and the last placed wild card team. Because of the new rules that allow them to get there, it's literally just destroying the sport. It's fun to watch during the season. When you get to the playoffs, it's no longer the best team that wins. It's the team that's hot the last 3 weeks of the season, which totally negates the reason for playing.
Oh, sounds like sour grapes.
Oh, no, I like grapes any flavor. As long as they're in a bottle, squished, drained.
Well, and fermented.
Yes, yeah, that too. I was talking about grape juice. I don't know what you were talking about. So,
well, I wasn't talking about grape juice. Fermented grape juice. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Before we get started today, do us a favor. Give us a quick shout out to our sponsors.
We shall. Let's say hello to our good friends over there at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you have an AR, probably already have one of their barrels and don't even know it, but now you can buy direct from them and get your barrel for your next build, or rebarrel the rifle you have. Hitmanindustries.net. Then we have our good friends at the California Republican Assembly. 2 weeks left, just under 2 weeks left. They need your help, folks. Gotta root out that evil out there in California, so give them some assistance if possible. And then, of course, run some awesome tactical gear, combat gear, web gear, Alice gear, LBE, LBV. Those, come on, you guys know what I'm talking about. Go to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They are the ones who bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. The links are in the description to this program. And then if you like what you see there, spend some money with them, donate, become a member, whatever works, whatever they're asking you to do, go ahead and do it. But also make sure that you let them know that it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please make sure, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about The Rundown, because, folks, we're fighting the algorithms. You know this. Yeah. For those of you who've spent your any time at all in Facebook or YouTube jail, go ahead and make sure you like, share, subscribe. And let them know that The Rundown is the place to have these sorts of cool conversations.
Yeah, have one. Have that conversation, a cool one. Be like, hey, what's up? I don't know what's up with you. All cool.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and let's get into. By the way, Mike, just so you know, so on one of our channels, we've actually gotten a second strike over there at 2A News, which is interesting because we got a strike on a video that we did months ago, right?
Right.
Here's the thing. Here's what's so funny about this particular strike that we've gotten, where the site is, where the YouTube feed is now suspended. We were talking about erection flawed.
Oh,
right?
Erection flawed.
And the funny part about it was we weren't even talking about erection flawed.
Right.
What we were talking about was we were reporting on how a Pennsylvania court ruled that 2 million votes that were cast during vote by mail that were accepted because for some reason, I'm trying to remember if it was either the date was wrong or they came in after or they weren't signed properly, whatever it was, but they were vote by mail. Oh, that's right. They changed because they had changed the vote by mail date, return date, that the court ruled that those were unconstitutional, right? That it was unconstitutional. Those votes shouldn't have been counted, right?
Right.
That's why we got suspended for reporting on a decision that was made by a court. And then on top of it, it was a Newsweek article that we were reporting on.
Yeah. See what happens, Craig? When you said it was the erection flawed, I thought you were going to talk about the Hillary Clinton story, but I guess, that was not it. But
no, she's the erection denier.
That's right. Exactly right. What we should do? We should play the tape, Craig. That way they'll have to evaluate us talking about the tape that they suspended as news, because then it would be news, right? If we're reporting what they did, that's news. They can't take it down. So.
Right. Well, that's exactly what it was. And I shared it with them. I shared them the segment. I'm like, this is what we were reporting on.
Yeah.
Simply saying what Newsweek said in an article about what a court decision. Yeah. Anyway, so just so y'all know, we're fighting the algorithms. That's the reason why I wanted to bring all that up. They don't want this news to get to you. They don't want people commenting and having the perspective that we share. They don't want that. They don't want that. Google doesn't want that on YouTube. So help us, because however you can watch us. But folks, you don't just have to watch us there. We're on Rumble. We're on. Actually, you can find us on Twitter. You can watch the program on Facebook,
right.
OpsLens, Spotify. There's tons of places where you can watch the program. You don't just have to watch it on YouTube. But just so you all know, we need your help. Tell friends about us. Tell your friends about us.
Now, did you actually send an appeal up, or did you do like last time and just send a picture of you doing this?
I sent it. I actually put in an appeal.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
we'll see what happens with it, but
right.
We shall
give it our best shot. See how it goes. We'll see how.
Well, the worst part, like I said, the worst part is we've tried to comply with their restrictions to the best we can and still tell the truth.
Right.
But the worst part is that I'm like, wait, this was from months ago. I'm like,
yeah,
really? Anyway.
Well, the censors have been on a vacation. They're just getting caught up now.
There you go. Well, evidently, I think what happened was somebody came across one of our old videos and they decided that they decided to complain about it, and they're censoring it. Is what they're doing.
Or the people there at the Censor Bureau, they put the word erection in on the search engine, and we came up first. So
it's always a possibility.
Yep.
Started talking about those erection flaws.
Exactly right. That's it. Yep.
All right. Moving right along. Well, we knew this was coming. In the state of New York, or the city of New York, we know that New York, the folks there in New York were basically told, if you worked for the city of New York, even if you were a first responder, if you were a nurse, if you were law enforcement, if you were a firefighter who continued to work while the rest of New York hid from the world, you continue to put yourself at risk and go out there and be involved and help people during the pandemic. You were told that either you take the shot or you get fired. Once again, many of these are folks who already had natural immunity because they had already been exposed to it. A judge has now ordered that New York City is required to reinstate workers who were fired for not complying with the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. And Mike, I think you're going to start to see more and more of these decisions that are going to start to happen all around the country, where people once again have lost their jobs, have lost their livelihoods, have been been made financially destitute because they refuse to comply with, and that once again, an unconstitutional mandate.
Yes, yeah. Now we know we talked about this with the NYPD. Remember, they were standing to lose thousands of their officers, and the judge, maybe the same judge. We'll see if maybe this was his expanded ruling. He ordered that they could not be fired last month if they refused the vaccination. So it's good to see that now it's been expanded to the rest of New York City and New York State, employees as well. So. Yeah, Craig. The most interesting thing I saw in this article was the reason the judge cited his final summation there was that he said the vaccination or the boosters do not prevent you from getting COVID. So how can you make it mandatory that they have to get this when it doesn't prevent them from getting it? That's what a vaccination is supposed to do. That's what the booster is supposed to do. So they said nope, sorry, back to work for these folks.
Well, it's interesting. It'd be nice to see, not just with this, but let's talk about from a broader scale. Let's talk about
Right.
YouTube basically canceling people's YouTube channels because they said the vaccine was didn't protect you from getting COVID. Heck, our YouTube channel. Right, the one, not the 2A News one, which is our one of our parent organizations where we distribute, where we put the show out from, but The Rundown. We had a YouTube channel that got shut down, and now we know that is not in fact the case. And anyway, you could tell I'm kind of real angry at YouTube right now, but once again, things that we knew were the case, things that we know now, we knew it then, right? We knew then. Well, first of all, two things. Number one, we knew that the vaccine didn't prevent you from getting it. At best, the data that came in said it reduced the likelihood. Now we're finding that, especially with Omicron, that is definitely not the case. But we also knew that masks didn't protect you. It may protect others, but it didn't protect you from getting COVID. And we also knew that there was this thing called natural immunity, which once again, we also now know that natural immunity is stronger and lasts longer than the vaccine. And probably is more effective in keeping you from getting it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just double checking, Craig. It was Judge Frank who declared that the vaccination was illegal for the NYPD, and then it was just here recently. It was Judge Ralph Porzio over in the Supreme Court there in Staten Island, with New York Circuit Court. They call it State Supreme Court, but it's all their circuit courts, their criminal.
Well, exactly, and I think his main point of his ruling, he was saying was, look, you don't get to in the middle of things change the terms of employment.
Correct, and that's what both have said. Yes, and he also said. Listen, the president just came on and said the pandemic's over, and the governor ended New York's state of emergency. So it's done. Like everything you had to fall back on is done.
Right. So time to bring them back. Sorry, don't know what to tell you, folks, but I'm very happy to see that judges are making good decisions. And once again, folks, just because there is an emergency does not mean that elected officials get to break the law. Does not mean that they get to violate our rights. And that is exactly what, in particular, we've seen from leaders on the left, whether it was governors, whether it was mayors, whether it was unelected bureaucrats. You had time after time after time people saying, it's an emergency, the law doesn't matter, your rights don't matter. For example, here in the state of California, we are still under a COVID state of emergency. Until the end of February 2023, we will be in a state of emergency. Literally, our governor for 3 years of his reign has declared himself the dictator of California.
Right. Yeah, it's Craig. I know we've talked about this before. The Declaration of Independence and our nation's breakaway from England occurred during when they were writing these documents during a pandemic, a flu pandemic that was going on, and yet it was never written in for emergency powers to be able to take control of our citizenry. Now we know they put the War Powers Act in there, but guess what we were subject to back at the time? Our nation being invaded which happened, what a good 15, 20 years after that as well. So it happened twice. So they understood that during invasion, you might need to prioritize some of the things going on in the country. But the flu and another pandemic killing the people all around us, no, that's nothing to do with the politics. We're just drive forward. Remember, keep going.
Right. Moving on to our next story. This is a fun one. The left, they always get me because these are the folks who tend to be anti-law enforcement. Well, they like law enforcement union leadership because, that gives them cover. So when they do stuff that violates our rights, they can say, well, it helps law enforcement. And, they get the union bosses to be on their side. Well, one of the things that we've seen recently has been how anti-police politicians, basically Democrats, how they have, when they are faced with their own safety being in jeopardy, when they are attacked, when they are approached by people who disagree with them, some of them their actual constituents and people who claimed to be their supporters, they have run to the police and said, help me. And, then they're surprised when law enforcement is like, I'm sorry, I can't do that because you've defunded us. Well, a Democrat socialist, and this is a person who is an avowed socialist, who sits on the Seattle City Council, who pushed for police defunding, is angry with law enforcement for not protecting her from feces throwers. That's right. People have been throwing feces at this particular city council member of the Seattle City Council, and she's mad because the police won't protect her.
Is she touring the zoo, or what's going on? Are these actual people throwing this? Is this?
I don't know.
Going on here? Yeah. If you have any poo, fling it now.
Poo flinging constituents.
That's it. I think that's a. Isn't it a rock band, the Poo Flingers?
The Poo Flingers. The Foo Fighters is the one I think you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Brain went somewhere else. This is. How about just rewards, just desserts, whatever it is. She's got it right. She's the same person, Craig, that would complain to the police that people were speeding in her neighborhood, and then when she gets pulled over for speeding in her neighborhood, she accuses the cops of racism. It's good for her. Good for her. I'm glad she got the poo on her. It's just. I wish there was video. That's about the only thing I can say here. I wish there was video of her going crazy and getting the poo thrown at her.
So here's the exact quote from the letter that she wrote. She says, "There's obviously a glaring inconsistency between this approach and the way in which former Mayor Durkin, after a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest was held a short distance from her mansion, was provided a 24-hour stakeout for a full year," Swanton wrote in her letter, suggesting she deserved police protection as a result of the incidents. As a socialist city council member who has participated in Black Lives Matter protests, I am being told that my case of 6 threatening incidents involving human excrement doesn't merit even a serious investigation, let alone protection. I'm just curious. I'm trying to find out. I'm looking through this piece to try and see exactly what is she claiming. What is she claiming exactly these folks actually have said that they're going to do to her? Have they said they're going to fling poo at her, or have they actually flung poo at this particular socialist?
It's my understanding that the poo was tossed at her home, so they attacked her home with poo. I don't know how you attack a home. You can do vandalism to a home, but you can't attack a home. That's this is now it makes sense, Craig. This is Kshama Sawant. She's the American Indian American politician, and I love this little factor. She's a member of the Socialist Alternative, the first and only member of the party to date to ever be elected to public office. So go to Seattle, folks. You got your brand new political party you want to start out, take it on the road.
There you go. Well, and I can tell you right now, the reason why she is not getting the same level of protection, because Seattle law enforcement, like law enforcement in many major cities, have been told, look, unless someone is personally threatened or with bodily harm or death, then no, you're not going to do anything. If it's property, definitely not going to do anything. It's only people that they are willing to step up and protect, and they did a really crappy job of that. But they're only obligated. They were ordered to stand down if it's property, and if it was poo on her property, well, they're not going to do anything about that.
It is amazing, Craig. I mean, I did read the end of the report. She does have her house is all got little poo stains all over it. On the flip side, though, her grass looks wonderful.
It's growing on the side of her house.
Well, it's all over. I mean, you know, now she got this fertilizer all over the place. Her grass is just coming in great.
There you go. There you go. Oh,
you know, you got to give a little, take a little, right? It all equals out. You know,
give it a little, take a little.
Yeah.
Talk about siding with the enemy, or talking about siding with foreign powers. Representatives from the Brady campaign have actually signed up as foreign agents in order to help Mexico. Right now, what are they doing to help Mexico? They signed up as foreign agents in order to help Mexico sue U.S. gun manufacturers. That's right. Their whole goal in all of this is to try and put these U.S. gun manufacturers out of business by once again, helping the Mexican government sue them. I don't know that this is necessarily illegal, but this really just kind of bugs me. It's like you want to put companies that help facilitate a constitutional civil right in the United States, and you want to work with a foreign power in order to end the access to that fundamental civil right. That's about as un-American as you could possibly get, in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we know last month, well, 2 weeks ago, right? Just about 2 weeks ago, we the court threw out the case that that Mexico filed against U.S. lawmakers. I believe they filed that up in Massachusetts, if I recall, and the federal judge threw that out. So this is like their next step. Like, okay, well, if Mexico can't get it done, we'll send our own agents down there so they can help file and get this done the right way. So it's kind of what it sounds like. It's like this is going to be their rebuttal to again take on U.S. manufacturers from across the border. Craig, you know, the part that sticks in my brain, I think the important part to remember is these people, these Bradys, these anti-gun, anti-Constitution, anti-America folks are so just ate up with hating your guns that they're willing to go and give up the country they love and change their employment and change their residence and go to Mexico and work for a foreign government to attack their own country. That's how much they hate you and your freedoms.
Yep.
They say they love this country and they want to help protect everybody, but they're going to do that by denying their homeland and going off to the foreign land.
And oh, by the way, guess who they are not attempting to disarm? The Mexican drug cartels.
Yeah. Yeah, they should try that while they're down there. Hey, we're anti-gun, and I guess the problem would be solved. We just never hear from them again. Just what happened to them? What happened to who? We don't know.
No say.
Yeah. I sweep the floor.
Oh, you're gonna love this next one. Woo-hoo. All right, this one is a fun one. Now, I know you're reading it. You're looking at the thing right now, and it says no more than. Well, this is the president talking about his new anti-gun legislation, which would limit the size of. Well, I think he was talking about magazines, but that doesn't appear to be what he was saying.
My legislation says there can be no more than 8 bullets in a round. Okay.
Let me play that. 8 bullets in a round, Mike. 8 bullets in a round.
So, to me, that would say I could use a 12 gauge round every day, right? Because there's 8 rounds of double-aught buck in each 12 gauge round. So we're good, right? We're good.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to talk about making a gun law confusing, allowing no more than 8 bullets in a round,
Yeah,
I
that's all I
have
could
no
think.
idea how
It's just remember
exactly you do not comply with that, or you comply with that.
So he's supporting guns, is what I'm hearing. Because remember, he used to be called Shotgun Joe. He said you don't need an AR-27 or whatever it is. You just go up on the balcony and shoot around into the air with your 12 gauge. They'll run away. Which, by the way, was used in defenses. Was also found to be illegal. You can't do that. But what is it? And just trying to from back here, trying to recall it. 12 gauge round, I believe, is a double aught buck round is 8 rounds of 32 caliber pellets. So evidently, he is supporting the use of double aught buck ammunition to do whatever you want to do.
Folks, in particular, if you are a Democrat and you voted for this guy, come on now. It's time for you to finally start admitting you made a mistake. You put a doddering old man, and I'm sorry, call it disrespectful, call it what you want. The fact is that he is turning senile. He is not going to make it through his first term. And the worst part about it is that his vice president is an idiot. His vice president is less intellectually engaged than he. And that's the worst part about this whole thing, is that you basically put two people who are definitely not ready for prime time in the White House, which I guess puts Nancy Pelosi as next in line. What is wrong with you people?
Well, listen, we talked about this yesterday, day before. The liberals have absolutely no problem sitting back and watching an incompetent, mental deficient person running it. Well, we know. Listen, they've been doing it with the Speaker's house for quite a while, right? So, why not allow it to have being president? The difference with Kamala there is that she's just mentally deficient because of who she is, not because of her age.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yep. All right, it's time to move on to our parting shots. Today we've got a few good ones. Got some good ones. This first one, well, once again, I think is kind of falls right in line with our last story. Joe Biden beats out Brussels sprouts for America's least favorite vegetable. I don't know. That one kind of speaks for itself. What do you think, Mike?
It does, Craig. It does. And do you know the hardest part about eating a vegetable?
What?
The wheelchair.
Moving right along. Oh, this is a good one. When you consider the cost of things today, meme basically says, what do you want for Christmas? Lately, I've been really into groceries and gas. Utilities are cool too. Stuff like that.
I'd love to get those here. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, because those things are not cheap. Not cheap at all. At least not anymore.
Yep.
And with everything that is going on in the world, I've often been asked, Craig, how do you survive? How do you make it through? And the only way that I can do it is to laugh. And this is why we do what we do when we do the parting shot. It says, people, how the hell do you stay sane with everything that's going on? And as you can see there, you've got the guy, the alcohol. That's Mr. Farrell right there, pouring alcohol. And on the alcohol bottle, it says memes. And that's how we do it. A little bit of drink,
sprinkle a little bit of that,
a little bit of memes.
Yep, I sprinkle a little bit of that memes on everything I do. I'm good to go. Yep.
Sometimes, sometimes all you can do is laugh to keep from crying. And that's kind of the state of the U.S. right now. But hey, in a few weeks, right now in many states that are voting early, right now is the time where we can start to turn some of that stuff around. So if you haven't voted, make sure you vote. And if you have voted, well, vote early, vote often where you can. Don't break the law, but I'm just, for YouTube.
That's right. We don't want any no erection flawed. Yep.
No erection flawed. No erection flawed. Okay, Mike, give that shout out to our sponsors.
Let's say hey to our good friends at Hitman Industries. Make sure you get over there and get yourself a barrel. They got, listen, all calibers, pistol calibers, rifle calibers that you could put on your AR there. So make sure you reach out to hitmanindustries.net. Go over to the California Republican Assembly. Less than 2 weeks left. They need your help. They need to get the names out there. They need to help support the right candidates. Maybe get you a little relief out there. And then, of course, you want some awesome tactical gear, some web gear. Even if you want to just wear it around your house wearing nothing but your helmet and your shower shoes. You know what you look like. Go to uscombatgear.com. gear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so we can bring you to them. Take a moment, visit them, and let them know that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. On that note, we're going to call it a day, and we very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will see you tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday. You have fun till then.